Hi, I'm Michty Maxx, and I'm here to share the makeup I wore to see the new Wonder Woman movie with the glorious Gal Gadot. I took the bold primary colors in the superheroine's costume and added a slice of glamorous gold-winged liner and fuck tons of gold highlight to show off her powerful adornments and accessories, and even added some sparkly blue glittery lower lashes for extra oomph. To protect the innocent eyeballs, I primed them with the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. To set the eye down to the crease and highlight the brow bone with superhuman strength while I'm there, I used Inglot number 111R Lightest Peach Shadow. And to lay down a transition shade with swift speed, I ran back to the middle and darkest shades of those peach strips. I just used a mini E25 fluffy brush from Sigma. I also took some of the deeper peach shade on its own to float above the crease into the inner crook and winged out at a point. But to get that really whipped into shape, I brought in Sugarpill Suburbia on the same mini Sigma blending brush to bring out the peach shade more strongly. And honestly, I could have foregone the Inglot mid-tone shades and just gone straight in with this eyeshadow. But those Inglot shades are great to soften at the top of that transition. Now for the saucy stuff. I have the Urban Decay Electric Palette Shadow in Slow Burn, and I'm mixing that into the crease, going a bit deeper into the socket and continuing the winged out shape that I'm building up, all the way from the inner corner to the outer flick. I needed to keep that blended, so I went back into Suburbia and the lightest peach shade, making sure the shadow faded into my skin tone. To keep the socket durable and tough, I have the Sugarpill eyeshadow in Love Plus, and I'm going into the deep crease with the Zoeva 231 Luxe Petite Crease Brush, which is as pointed and sharp as the God Killer sword, which Wonder Woman steals from the Sacred Vault and wields accordingly. I'm really shoving the brush up in there and building up the winged out crease while joining it back to the outer corner of my eye and adding extra product onto the lash line. I fluffed out the top edge and made sure everything was strong yet soft. To endow the socket with even more vigor, I'm pulling out Makeup Geek Bitten out of my arsenal and using the same sword-tipped brush to create a defined crease that would stop Aries in his tracks. I lassoed that around to the corner of the eye and pulled it from the inner corner all the way across. This pointed brush allows you to pack on the color in a precise fashion, yet allow blending out as you go. We can't leave this demigoddess too dark and gritty, so I went back to Sugarpill Love Plus to brighten up the crease, 'cause that's the way I like it. And I used the fluffy blending brush to set off against the God of War with a softened perimeter of color, also roping in the Inglot Peach shades. To make my lid unfazed with solid color, I pulled out the Makeup Forever Flash Palette and dotted on some red cream before smoothing it into my mobile lid with my finger. To show the longevity of Wonder Woman, I'm whipping out the Sugarpill pigment in Asylum and the Illamasqua Sealing Drops to create a shimmery red paste, and I'm using a small flat brush to cut out the lid. I also punched on some dry pigment over the top of my curved shape. I took the Zoeva 237 Detail Shader brush and dipped it into both Makeup Geek Corrupt and Bitten to slice sure and true through the socket to define the shimmery red lid even further. I even darkened up the outer corner with Bitten and blended it into the shimmery red. I went for a bit more skilled hand-to-hand combat, with Bitten on the pointed brush through the socket, and made sure the top of the crease was still shining bright with true red Love Plus, all the way into that inner corner. One way to make a red shining lid as indestructible as those bracelets of hers is to bring in the big boys, Lit Cosmetics Clearly Liquid Glitter Base and the size 3 Glitter Firecracker. I kicked on that glitter paste in the same round shape with the small flat brush, building up the concentration and pressing on some glitter with my finger. I wiped off fallout and sharpened up the wings with a makeup wipe, because you can't fly with uneven wings. Or at least you need some sort of cape. powers. It's time to represent that golden lasso of truth with a lashing of the Urban Decay El Dorado liquid liner with a nice sharp wing slicing across the lash line. I stabilized my skin with a finger and layered up this sparkly gold eyeliner with a nice honed edge and curved up wing. I moved on to clearing off the inner corner with a cotton bud, and to make sure the shadow I put on top is as muscular as possible, I applied the NYX Jumbo pencil in Cottage Cheese. Oh, and I also remembered to reprime underneath my eye, since I wiped off under there. Cottage cheese and cashews is a favorite of the great Arnold Schwarzenegger in the day to build strong muscles. I find the idea of cottage cheese rather disgusting. Now on to Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow in Magic Act, and I slammed that into the inner tear ducts and brushed it up to merge with the inner crease, softly fading it out and keeping it solid and bright on the inside. I have the matching El Dorado pencil from Urban Decay, and I'm applying that on my waterline to portray her golden projectile tiara. And then I decided to use NYX Jumbo Milk Pencil across the lower lid, smudged out with a finger. To characterize the itty-bitty skirt that she possesses, I'm pressing on some of this sleek blue shadow from the Acid palette over the central portion of my lash line, and fading that into the deeper blue towards the outer half. I buffed them together thoroughly and merged the outer corner with the red wing, just with whatever's left on the pointed brush for now. Going back to Magic Act and using a bit more of the Greek godlike shine, and I'm making sure there's a seamless transition across the lower lid, also adding more of the light blue shimmery shade. Then, to seamlessly protect the outer corner, I took a smooth blend of Corrupt and Bitten with the detail brush to darken it up, and I made sure the primary shade in there was Bitten, and brightened it up a bit with some Love Plus. And I also tightened up the wings. I curled my lashes to make them point up to Mount Olympus, where Zeus resided. And I spent a little time fiddling with the inner crease. I crushed those eyelashes with CoverGirl Clump Crusher Mascara to blacken them up top, and then crushed down and took to the lower lashes with MAC Giga Black Lash Mascara. I sculpted my fluffy brows from clay with the Urban Decay Brow Box in Bathwater Blonde, and I set the hairs with the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara in Blonde. I safeguarded my skin with Embryolisse Lait Crème Concentrate Moisturizer, and I did the same to my lips with some Bepanthen ointment to prepare them for later. I lit up and primed my skin with L'Oreal Lumi Magique Pure Light Primer, and dazzled up the gleaming high points further with NARS Illuminator in Copacabana, smeared in with my fingertips and blended into the skin, scooting around the eye makeup. I dotted on some Bourjois Healthy Mix foundation and freshened up my complexion with some of the Body Shop lightening drops, mixing and pouncing on the combination with the Black Beauty blender. I'm just going for subtle but even coverage. I streaked on a bit of Revlon Photo Ready Eye Primer and Brightener in the depths of my under eye circles, and then I went in with MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, pounded over the top, carefully tracing around the eye makeup, and added a little more around my nose and areas of redness. To shield that from the war of man, I fluffed on some diffused light ambient lighting powder from Hourglass and swirled it around the center of my face. I wanted to sculpt out the inner crease and nose bridge a little using whatever was left on that blending brush, and I took the color up higher in the crease as well, and added some golden finishing touches before spotting on my beauty spot. Wonder Woman wasn't raised by no fools, her mother Hippolyta and a bunch of other hard-to-pronounce Greek chicks. And they know how to drape a nice flush of NARS Orgasm Blush across the cheeks from the apples towards the temples for a pretty and innocent effect, going heavy-handed in there as the gals from the early days really dug on some rosy cheeks. I wanted to punch up the golden peachness of the cheeks, so I layered Jeffree Star Skin Frost in Peach Goddess over the top of the blush. And now it's time to make Aphrodite proud of those cheekbones. And I have just the highlight for that. And it's also going on all the high points of the face, really going nuts, layering it on thick, and letting the golden skin flash bright. I blended out the edges of the cheeks so they don't get too out of control, and also buffed the edges of the gold with the large powder brush. I meshed the powder into the skin with MAC Fix Plus and dried it off before setting the face with Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, which gets the same damsel fanning treatment, although this time minus the distress. I prepared the lips by wiping them off and sliding on some MAC Prep and Prime lip base. To take it back to old school, I have MAC Cherry Lip Pencil to line the lips in my usual angular shape with a pointed cupid's bow and a totally filled in lip. And now to finish off the lip of the goddess of love and war, I have the Sugar Pill Pretty Poison lipstick in Nurse. It's a wonderful rich red shade that I'm totally in love with myself. And after a bit of cleanup and adjustment of the eyeshadow, I thought I was done. However, I thought I'd play with these Sugar Pill Lash Overdose individual lashes in Firefly. I plucked them off gently with tweezers and trimmed the ends down with scissors, just up to the glitter pieces, and I stuck them on one by one with a little blob of lash glue on the end. I took the trimmed lashes and spaced them out along the lash line, manipulating them into place with tweezers. I'm placing them between and underneath my natural lashes and flipping them over so they curve the same way as the lower lashes too. Since they have the blue sequins on them, I thought they'd go perfectly with the lower lash line and to pump up this look to the next level. I put an uncircumcised Firefly lash at the outer end of the lower lid to give a bit more flair, and after a few prods with the fingers and whatnot, I'm done. So I skedaddled off to the movie and I had a swell time. I really enjoyed the grace and beauty of the Amazonian fighting with their style and flair. And I also enjoyed the pretty but bold shimmery colors of this makeup. I went for a brighter version of the colors instead of the gritty style that the DC dudes are using lately, just cause it's more fun to stun people with flashier stuff. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this bold and strong tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Also check out my band and podcast on iTunes. And if you want to send me a letter or something, I have my PO box in the description box.
Michty Maxx.